Yeah, so today we will start from page number 16, the paragraph number, if I can say, 3. Although she leaned to bear. From this place we will start. If anyone would like to read this paragraph, or I can also put this in the window if you don't have access to uh, the PDF. Let me just put it. Yes,
So
who would like to
start
read?
from although, right?
Although, yeah, I've also
Yeah.
put it in the chat window
Okay.
just
Yeah,
in
but
case.
now I can see your share screen very
Acha,
clearly.
acha, good, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
take it.
Although she leaned to bear the human load, her walk kept still the measures of the gods. Earth's breath had failed to stain that brilliant glass, unsmeared with the dust of our mortal atmosphere. It still reflected heaven's spiritual joy.
Yeah. So this is an image as if Savitri is leaning from the heavens. She leaned to bear the human load. She's come down on the earth, taken a earthly form to make the mankind evolve in an exponential step, to get rid of this loop of life and death, life and death, life and death, to confront death and to claim immortality. That is why Savitri is here. Although she leaned to bear the human load and took a human form, her walk still kept the measures of the gods. There is a mighty kind of a certitude in her walk, in her gait. When she walks, there is a certitude that drips off her that yes, the divine victory will be won. Her walk kept still the measures of the gods. Full of certitude, full of divine confidence, no fear, not fearing. See, we land up fearing because we have so many manipulative agendas hiding here and there. We have our insecurities, so we end up fearing so much. She did not have this mortal world, could not give Savitri anything. So she had nothing to fear. We have so much to take from this mortal world. This relationship should give me that thing, that family must give me that thing, that spouse must give me this approval or acceptance, all these. Savitri did not have any of those entanglements. So what to fear then? Earth's breath had failed to stain that brilliant glass. Her consciousness is as if shining as a brilliant glass, unsmeared with the dust of our mortal atmosphere. Thoda din after some time, when we see a glass, gathers dust. So when we take a human birth, owing to all the influences on us, we take too many impressions on our consciousness. Just like I was sharing the other day, just like a wet cement, if you put marks on wet cement, they get imprinted, impressions get really strong. That's how our consciousness works. It's not supple, it's not like a sponge, that something falls and then the sponge became again supple, like as good as before. So earth's breath, when we take this human form, the body form, and all the impulses and desires and ambitions and greed, all that goes along with taking a human birth, that had failed to stain the consciousness of Savitri. Kabir ji refers to this, when he says that uh, दास कबीर ने युक्ति से ओढ़ी ज्यों की त्यों धर दीनी. I did not stain my consciousness. I just, the way it was given to me pure, I just kept it like that. and I did a lot of effort to keep it like that. It was not easy to keep it like that. And in another couplet, Kabir shares, हृदय माही आरसी और मुख देखा नहीं जाए, मुख तो तभी देखिए जब दिल की दुविधा जाए. So Kabir is saying, in your heart is the mirror in which you can see the true yourself, but you cannot see the true yourself because you are stained. There's a lot of confusion, the confusion of desires, the confusion of expectations, the demands, all that clouds our vision. So there is this suppleness that we kind of, yeah, there is this suppleness that we begin to lack over time. With Savitri, that suppleness was her origin and she stayed there, right? But we will see, Preeti, we will see in further book where it is explained how she goes through death of Satyavan. In the beginning she also falls a prey to darkness, and that is very important because when Savitri is showing the human beings a path towards light, where does she have to start from? She has to start from the human condition. The human condition is that we fall a prey to the desires, the ambitions, the greed, the expectations, the demands, the sorrow, the suffering. We fall a prey to that. So Savitri will also have to start from that only. Otherwise, how would she be a torch bearer for us? Right? She cannot start from being a divine being that, okay, nothing touches me. So Satyavan's death will touch Savitri. And it is shown in the further cantos also, it touches Savitri. And then how does she, being a human being who is touched and pained by the loss, even then how can she go on? So how can a human being go on even after that? If it's just a divine being following a divine path, it is not of much use for us human beings. So the fall is also shown in Savitri, this fall of consciousness, falling a trap to the sorrow and sadness when things happen on earthly realm. That will be shown. So unsmeared with the dust of our mortal atmosphere. No, when you clean a glass with a cloth, for example, we see that even after cleaning, we see that streaks of lines can be seen on the glass. That is a smear. But Savitri's consciousness is very supple, brilliant glass. It still reflected heaven's spiritual joy. So this is the story before love happened to Savitri. Till that point, her life was untouched by all the sorrow and sadness of human beings. But owing to the fact that she had come to the earth to show us a path, she had to go through the sorrow and sadness what a human being goes through. Otherwise, she'll not be able to show us the path. So this is a reference to the, everything before love happened to Savitri. Yeah, anything so far? Any comments, any reflections? Just keep sharing whenever you feel like. Yes. So the next para is in blue. Whoever would like to go through. Yeah. Preeti, would you like to read?
Okay. Almost they saw who lived within her light, her playmate in the sempiternal spheres, descended from its unattainable realms. In her attracting advance luminous wake, the white fire dragon bird of endless bliss, drifting with burning wings above her days, heaven's tranquil shield guarded the mission child.
Yeah. So those who lived in very close proximities with Savitri, they almost saw her playmate who lived in eternal spheres, everlasting spheres coming from the worlds of immortality. They saw something, they almost saw that playmate that Savitri carried along with her. It will be revealed further, a little description. Almost they saw who lived within her light, her playmate in the sempiternal sphere. Sempiternal meaning everlasting, unchanging. Descended from its unattainable realms in her attracting advent's luminous wake, the white fire dragon bird of endless bliss, drifting with burning wings above her days. So, this is a reference to the youth of Savitri, that those who were very close to her, they saw something very unique and special about Savitri. Something was not of this world regarding Savitri, something was different. Her playmate, who was this playmate that is being referred to? We get a little description, not complete. I don't know how much we can fathom, but yes, a little bit of description is there. As if a white fire dragon bird of endless bliss was hovering around Savitri. That kind of a aura. And this bird, this white fire dragon bird of endless bliss, this imagery that Sri Aurobindo gives in front is descended from its unattainable realms in her attracting advent's luminous wake. Wake is that trail when a motorboat, for example, runs on the water. There is this trail, a white froth that it leaves behind it. That is called a wake. So imagine that the motorboat is Savitri. So when Savitri came, or her advent in this human form, before her was this trail of that white froth that happens when the motorboat is in the sea or a lake. And in this trail was following this white fire dragon bird of endless bliss. Now, what exactly Sri Aurobindo is referring here, obviously that is open to interpretations. What I went through and what I came across is that she carried this aura of endless bliss, a very strong connection with her eternal origins. And we all have those origins, we are not different. We all have those origins. Just that we just get too drenched in the mud and the dirt of earth. We forget those origins. And what we are doing right now is just remembering those through the words of light and consciousness. So remembrance is very important. We keep on reminding ourselves throughout the day of all the chores that we need to do, right? Those appear so important. They take most of our time. Just like that, we also need to remind ourselves of this. We have lost the importance of this, of our origins, of our roots. So that playmate, Whitefire Dragonbird, hovered around Savitri. Savitri always had that presence of endless bliss around her, drifting and with burning wings, intensity, burning wings referring to a strong intensity, burning wings above her days, heaven's tranquil shield guarded the mission child. The mission child is Savitri. And this is heaven's tranquil shield, a calm, protective shield of endless bliss that is protecting Savitri in this human realm because she is there for a mission. We are all here for a mission. We are all here for a mission. Only if we allow ourselves to wake ourselves to, wake up to it. Sorry, who is they? Almost they. So this is referring to those people who lived within their light, within her light. So people who were very close to Savitri, almost they saw. So that is what I interpreted going through the readings. Yeah, yeah. So people who were very close in proximity, her friends, her disciples, her students, her acquaintances, they almost sensed a very strong presence of this endless bliss in Savitri. Yeah, this mission child, protected with this calm shield of endless bliss. Yeah. Who would like to read?
It is such a lovely description of mother's
Yeah,
childhood.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
it is. Yeah. So the next part, a glowing orbit. Whoever is ready.
I'll go, Monica.
Ji.
A glowing orbit was her early term. Years like gold remnant of the gods that pass. Her youth sat throned in calm felicity, but joy cannot endure until the end. There is a darkness in terrestrial things that will not suffer long to glad a note.
Yeah. So this is all reference to her early term, as Preeti was sharing, mother's childhood, mother's youth, the young age. A glowing orbit was her early term, an ever expanding glowing orbit. Ears like gold raiment of the gods that pass. Raiment is a word for a dress, a cloth. Just like she is a royal being, Savitri is a royal being. She is coming from the divine, very strongly in touch with her divine origins. And years by years, as they were passing, they were adding on to Savitri's beauty. They were adding on to her attire, her divine attire. Her youth sat throned in calm felicity, a calm joy. This is actually a beautiful paradox because when we look at human joy, we usually very frivolous around our joys. We dance it around and we just throw it around. We spend all the energy. Her youth sat throned, like a princess, sat throned in calm felicity, a joy which is a poised joy. It's not a joy which she's throwing around. A lot of bliss, and she has that strength to contain that bliss, to hold that bliss and not spill it around. But joy cannot endure until the end. Now this is a reference to the earthly realm. In earthly realm, everything is changing. There is a darkness in terrestrial things, all the things of earth. One thing which is very common about earthly things is nothing is going to stay. So we have to go through all the pain and suffering of seeing, watching the things change, leaving our loved ones. They cannot be with us forever. So there is this darkness of the inconscience, the darkness of the unconscious in the terrestrial things. Wherever there is life on earth, the death will also be there lurking around. The moment a newborn is born, if one has a deep eye, one can see that this human being will die very soon. So life comes with a duality, which is the death. So on earth, we are entrapped in a game of duality. Pleasure comes, and if one has a far-sightedness, one can see that yes, pain will come very soon. Such is the life on earth. Pleasure comes hiding pain. Life comes hiding death. But we are not able to see it that far. Saints and mystics have seen. Kabir says, सुखिया सब संसार है, जागे और खाए, सोए और खाए, दुखिया दास कबीर है, जागे और रोए. Because I am awake to my own self, I can see in what trap you are trapped, Kabir says. We are trapped in the trap of dualities. So there is a darkness in terrestrial things. Nothing is going to stay forever. It's not immortal, it's mortal. Everything is mortal. There is this darkness in terrestrial things that will not suffer too long to that will not suffer long to glad a note. So any gladness that comes in our life, it is very soon met with another round of pain or suffering or sadness or sorrow. The life on earth is such that it will not allow, suffer meaning here allow. I was checking the meaning of suffering also. The synonyms for suffering are support, endure. So the life on earth cannot support too much of gladness. It cannot endure too much of gladness. A balance has to be put very soon, that a bit of pain and sorrow and suffering also comes. Such is the life on terra, the earth, terrestrial things. So just like that, Savitri being born as a human being, her joy was also to end with the coming of love in her life. But joy cannot endure until the end. There is a darkness in terrestrial things that will suffer long, that will not suffer long to glad a note. This reminded me of this, when I read this line, darkness in terrestrial things. Imagine I have a drop of drain water. That drop of drain water is really enough to pollute the water that I'm going to drink. Such is the strength of darkness. Such is the strength in inconscience. The inconscience is mighty strong. A drop is enough to pollute the clean water. And along with that, if we see, our common lives, our human lives, आप देखिए, whatever influences we are having throughout the day, whether it's through news or our own mind, their thoughts and feelings, a little thought comes and it pollutes me for 5 minutes. It was not very strong a note of that thought, very streak, something from the past came, but it polluted me for 5 minutes, or at least, maybe more hours, or maybe a day. It was nothing but one little thought. Such is the power of inconscience and darkness. So, yes, the opposite, I'm coming to that, Taru. So, for example, there is a cup and there is a little bit of drain water in that cup, right? If I have to now purify that cup, what will I have to do? I will have to pour and pour and pour and pour and pour clean water in that cup, so that the darkness, the drain water, it gets diluted over time. This is what we are doing. For example, having this session here. The remembrance of the divine origin has to be poured again and again, reaffirmed again and again. And along with that, I also have to take care that I am not pouring more drain water in that cup. Right? So there is this cup I am holding. In this cup, there is some drain water. Now I want to empty this cup and refresh it with clean water, along with either inverting the cup of drain water or maybe putting more cleansed water. First of all, the water needs to be a lot. Yes, all the more, all the more. Adding on clean water again and again, pouring, 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 so that over time the drain water gets diluted. But parallelly, I have also to be very aware that I am not pouring parallelly the drain water also in the cup. So this is what we also are doing in our lives, because the hold of inconscience is very strong, the grip of nature is very strong, the grip of tendencies, vasanae, very very strong. So one has to keep pouring, keep pouring, keep pouring, just like we do all the other activities throughout the day which deem so important in our life. Just like that, we also have to be at it continuously, not giving up. Yes. And as we become ready, the divine light also shines very gradually for us. The ignorance is there for a purpose. Ignorance, is like a curtain, as we read in the first canto, symbol dawn. Ignorance is like a curtain. Imagine that you are sleeping on your bed and the sun is rising. In the beginning, you are not ready to take all the light of the sun. So the curtains help. And then slowly you feel like opening up your eyes a little, right? And that you maybe draw a little curtain aside, you draw the curtain aside, now you want more light, your eyes feel ready for that light. In the beginning, while you were waking up, the eyes were not ready to take all that light. So that ignorance that we have in our lives, that non allowance of divine light in our life, that is there for a purpose. The purpose is, as soon as we become ready to take more and more light, the ignorance slowly, slowly, slowly sheds off. And then we are able to contain more light in our life. So it's our own issue, We are not yet ready in our own capacity to contain all the divine might and strength. And slowly, in measures, in degrees, as we get ready, the divine reveals itself to us. In measures, in degrees, slowly, gradually. Yes. So who would like to read the lines in green?
On her too closed the inescapable hand, the armed immortal bore the snare of time. One dealt with her who meets the burdened great.
Yeah. So just like this hand of inescapable hand of this changing things, everything is changing. Nothing is everlasting on this earth. On Savitri too, this hand came, inescapable hand, in the grip of which every mortal being has to come, whether it's an avatar or a normal human being. On her too closed the inescapable hand, the hand of sorrow and suffering. The armed immortal, referring to Savitri, the armed immortal bore the snare of time. Snare is a trap for little, little creatures. The hand of time, time means change. When we say time, everything that is referring to time means referring to change. So the joy also that Savitri carried with her had to change. So this trap of time, as if imagine a big mighty hand coming on you and holding you in its grip, that trap of time, that yes, you are also mortal being, things will change for you also. That is what Savitri now is confronted with. One dealt with her who meets the burdened great. Now, the burdened great is referring to missioned people, the divine children, avatars, for example, who are here to do a great work, who are here to push humanity into a different evolution altogether, a different tangent altogether. One being, the third line that Taru read, the first is a reference to one. Now, this is a reference to a being, which will be clear later. One, that one being, one dealt with her, dealt with Savitri, who meets the burdened great. And this being that is being referred to, he meets everyone who comes here on earth with a great mission. Each and every person who comes here with a great mission has to go through and deal with this being that is being referred to. Who is this being? Now, there is a description that comes in the later lines of this being that we'll read now. Yes. Taru, maybe you can continue this.
A signer of the ordeal and the path, who chooses in this holocaust of the soul death, fall, and sorrow as the spirit's goads, the dubious Godhead with his torch of pain lit up the chasm of the unfinished world and called her to fill with her vast self the abyss. August and pitiless in his calm outlook, heightening the Eternal's dreadful strategy, he measured the difficulty with the might and dug more deep the gulf that all must cross.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now, this being that is being referred to, Sri Aurobindo does not name this being, and it's on purpose that he does not name it. But we'll come to that later. So, this being dealt with Savitri, who meets with all the people who have great burdens on their shoulders to do something on the earthly realm. And this being is the assigner of the ordeal and the path. As if this being is giving you a lot of work to do, assigning a lot of burden onto you, but also telling you what is the path, also kind of poking you towards the path that is to be taken to complete the mission. Assigner of the ordeal that I must go through in this human life, and also the path, who chooses in this holocaust of the soul death, fall, and sorrow as the spirit's goads. Goad is this little stick, for example, the farmers use to poke the animal when they are sitting on this bullock cart. They poke the bull with this stick so that it will go further. So, what are the sticks that this assigner is using to push the soul forward? Death, fall, and sorrow. The reminder that nothing will remain, the things will change. That reminder. Death, fall, that you have fallen and you have to rise. That fall, remembrance of the fall, and sorrow. Whenever sorrow comes to us, it kind of pushes us to do something in our life. Otherwise, we get into this inertia of not doing anything, not evolving much in our life. But when we are stuck with sorrow, when we are stuck with suffering and pain, as if someone is poking with this stick called sorrow, hey, move, come on, you have gotten stuck for 5 years, now it's time to move. Just like that, this assigner also does the same thing to the avatars or the burdened greats. He pushes them into the ordeal and also shows them the path that they should take to go further, to further their mission for which they have come. The dubious Godhead with his torch of pain. Now the being is referred to as a dubious Godhead. He doesn't appear like a Godhead. Now, if we call as pain as God, we'll see where is the godness in pain, right? Where is the godness is in suffering? But if we have really learned lessons through pain and suffering, only then we can know that yes, it's only Godhead in a disguise of pain, which made me move from my tamas, from my inertia, where I had gotten stuck, so that I could move further in my life. That's why the use of this word called dubious Godhead. The dubious Godhead with his torch of pain. Now, pain, whenever I am given pain, I am pushed to move ahead. Sorry, Preeti, you were sharing something?
Is there a reason why they are given in a kind of reverse order? Death comes last. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just the question. Like it's death.
yeah.
What was it? There's a
That
song.
death feels like comes last, yes, if you look at time. But the moment a birth is there, death is in the shadow. That is actually there. The sorrow has not yet started, but death is there. Right? The moment
Yeah,
I
and
take
it's
a
just
human form, death is there as a byproduct. Sorry, Taru, also you wanted to share?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that, if we look at, say, pain, suffering, and death, like right now, if I look at it, death seems much bigger, right? So if you have to kind of tell somebody, wake up or, just rise to whatever you can rise to. But if we have that sensitivity, then death actually has more effect. Now it seems more final, like fall and sorrow, you feel, yes, I can rise again. But
Yeah,
that's why I think yeah, Kabir also is mostly talking about death, right? That वो तो एक end हो जाता है ना, it's like very extreme. So
yeah,
probably that is why also that's the first thing that, and it seems very counterintuitive that we keep forgetting that, right? Like considering how final it appears to be.
mm, yeah,
yeah.
yes. Each and every line, Savitri, the beauty is that there is so much of wideness in each line, and we are just touching maybe not even the surface, अगर इसको लेके बैठे in our deep contemplations, I'm sure so many more insights also will arise, through that.
Yeah. Do you have a limit how many lines you do per day? Because there's anyway so much to grasp and kind of.
Yeah, we don't have a limit to the lines. We usually get a limit. You want to limit us, Preeti?
No, no, no. It's because there's so much to think on. I think my whole day will go on this only today. So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah. So we
blessing in
usually
a way.
close after one and
Mm.
a half hours or 1 hour 15 minutes. We close.
Okay.
So maybe 15 minutes more. Yeah. Good one. I would not get to know. Good for me. I can just go on and on and on. Yeah. So the dubious Godhead with his torch of pain. So a pain, but a torch. This is a nice paradox that has been said here. Pain, but a torch. So it wants to tell us something. Pain wants to show us something. Can we look at the message? Can we see where it wants to take us? The dubious Godhead, with his torch of pain, lit up the chasm of the unfinished world, all that needs to be done yet on this earthly sphere, unfinished, the evolution, and called Savitri, to this, fill with her vast self the abyss. So, as if this assigner of the ordeal is creating a huge chasm, a huge crack, or a huge, kind of a gap for Savitri to fill this gap up, from the gap that is between immortality and mortality, the gap that is there between suffering and bliss. And he's asking Savitri to put her vast self between this abyss and fill it up. so that it gets joined. Immortality gets joined in mortality. This is the challenge that this Godhead is putting in front of Savitri. August and pitiless in his calm outlook. So, this is the reference to this Godhead. He is firm in his outlook, very kind of firm and stern. August, like royal, like a king. And pitiless. He does not pity anyone, because whenever we are pitying someone, we are looking actually down upon that person, that you cannot do much, right? But because Savitri is full of unborn might, a strength that is immeasurable, so he's pitiless. He does not pity anyone. August and pitiless in his calm outlook, heightening the eternal dreadful strategy. So, this is a reference to when, for example, there is a trainer who wants to train you, for example, in judo, karate, or any art. What will he do if he is really a good trainer? He will bring you even a more challenge, even a further, greater challenge, even a greater challenge. So, what is he doing, this Godhead? He is heightening the Eternal's dreadful strategy. He is becoming even more dreadful in his strategy, because he knows that Savitri can do more. Savitri is capable for even more. So I'll give her even a worthy challenge. Now relate it with your own life's challenges. Mother says, Taru once shared, I remember, that in exact measure of atom and weight, we are given our challenges. In exact measure. Jitna hame, whatever challenge we are given, the exact strength is also there hidden within our being to come up and arise through that challenge. If we can unhide, unmask that strength within us. So that is why this Godhead is now heightening its strategy. He measured the difficulty with the might. Now he's looking at Savitri and seeing, oh my God, she's capable of so much. So here comes the challenge. He's measuring, imagine that there is a balance. On one, he's keeping Savitri's strength. And on one, he's putting more and more difficulty, because Savitri's strength is so much that he has to bring more difficulty in the other part of the balance so that it becomes balance. Beautiful imagery here. And he dug more deep the gulf that all must cross. So now this gulf that he is creating for Savitri, he is digging it even deeper, making it even tougher for her, because she is going to be the torch bearer for the humanity afterwards. So if Savitri as a human being can go through, then human beings also can go through that. Imagine that you are in a forest, an uncharted territory. You are in a forest and you are here for the first time. You see suddenly there is a way comes that there is no further path ahead, and you are the first being in that forest. What would you do out of a necessity? You will carve your path out of that area where there is no path. You cut the, maybe some leaves and shrubs so that there is a new path that emerges in that forest. Now this path will be used by all the people that come after you in that forest. So this is something very new that Savitri is going to do here. So the deeper the challenge, the deeper help that humanity will get through Savitri, right? Because if she can do it, we can follow her footstep and do it. Yeah, just taking a pause here, if there is anything.
Yeah, I have often seen this to be quite, counterintuitive. Like, if somebody is going through like really, challenging times, and if you tell them or, remind them that, it's like, why I said the example that you shared from mother, or generally we say, that all the animals are giving the tails according to what they can bear.
Yeah,
So it feels like a slap on the face, okay.
yeah,
On one aspect, you're telling them you're strong, but
yeah,
it doesn't feel that way when you're actually kind of flooded with, say, the pain and stuff.
That's
लाइक
true.
ऐसे लगता है कि इससे अच्छा तो नहीं ही होते somehow.
That's
And
true.
yet when you see this it seems so factual, right?
Mhm.
But
I
some
think
of
it
the
also depends on what is the state of receptivity of the other person, है ना? क्योंकि
Hmm.
हर बंदा तो uh, हर चैलेंज को ऐसे नहीं ले पाएगा ना, एकदम से कहीं से राइट एटीट्यूड जस्ट emerge हो गया. So we
Hmm.
take our time to have that right attitude towards life. For example, Hanuman, had to
Hmm.
be reminded of his strength, right? If you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that story.
That came to me when you were reading this, that
Yeah,
how,
yeah.
yeah.
So if I
No,
don't,
that is
yeah.
sorry.
Yes, Preeti, please go ahead.
No, that is very true because I have seen that कुछ लोग पेन में ignorant भी हो जाते हैं.
Hmm.
They somehow, I mean, they are also going through some pain, suffering, sorrow, and fall, but they are not able to. They don't want to come over it, so they just kind of tune themselves off, and then there's no growth.
Exactly, exactly.
Or they get distracted into other things like उसको भूलने के लिए ज्यादा शॉपिंग में चले गए या ज्यादा मस्ती करने लगे कि उसको भूल जाए like shove it under the carpet.
बिल्कुल,
Whereas
बिल्कुल.
there are some who kind of feel it, face it, and then kind of grow and learn from it.
Hmm.
So they are the blessed ones because then they have seen that they can once come out of it, and then later when something comes again, then they know, oh yes, I've learned and grown in it. Let me face it
Hmm.
again. And
Hmm. मुझे लगता है ये मैटर ऑफ टाइम भी है, मतलब इट्स नॉट दैट देयर आर ओनली अ फ्यू पीपल हु कैन डू दैट, है ना? जैसे इफ यू रिमेंबर अवर अर्लियर टाइम्स, मे बी वी वर नॉट एबल टू मच यू नो be so receptive to words of light and consciousness, right? Being indulged in our dramas all the time. But then over time, in time, we see that, oh, now I realize, maybe that was not a very right attitude that I took in the past years. Maybe now this is what I can do, right? So this also, I think, evolves over time, that I am able to see that yes, if I am given a challenge, then I am also given the strength. Just matter of time, I believe.
there has to be some awareness also. अगर वो आप में awareness and the ability to introspect and look ही नहीं होगी तो वो time will not matter. Then you
Exactly.
can
Yeah,
just continue living like that.
that's true. That happens. Yeah. Yes. So just the last paragraph, although I'm ready to take even more, but I don't want to kind of torture uh, kind of uh, Preeti,
No,
especially.
it's not a torture. It's like you're giving me a lot of homework for today.
No, it is,
I'm
yeah, it
happy
is a
with what
lot.
I have. I can do that much also and a little more. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm only wishing I had a hard copy of the Savitri with me and I could also, kind of take notes alongside. But
हाँ, हाँ,
so
हाँ.
far,
पता है प्रीति, आजकल मैं
anyway,
क्या कर रही
that's
हूँ?
okay.
I listen to a few talks and then I keep on writing important points. So that also
Even
works.
I've started, I've maintained a
हाँ.
diary, but still miss because Savitri, you need a hard copy. I
Yeah,
mean, I
it's
feel,
nice to
and
have
I don't
that.
mind writing on it so that it, I grasp by writing.
Yeah, yeah,
So, like you are giving me meaning and synonyms and things, I would have loved to write alongside, but
yeah,
anyway, it will happen, I'm sure.
yeah.
Just continue, it's okay.
Okay. Yes, so this paragraph in green, maybe Chitra ji or Aradhana ji can give it a go. Yes, Chitra ji.
Yeah. Whether to bear with ignorance and death.
Just a bit above it, the green paragraph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Assailing her divinest elements.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Assailing her divinest elements, he made her heart kin to the striving human heart and forced her strength to its appointed role. For this, she had accepted mortal breath. To wrestle with the shadow, she had come, and must confront the riddle of man's birth and life's brief struggle in dumb matter's night.
Yeah. Thank you. The paragraph above that we just discussed, that also reminds me, when we say this, use this statement that people who are good, why does much bad happen to them? We often use in common language this statement. And I think that thing that we call as bad, it nothing but a test for their strength. If we just take it on the face value, it may appear bad, obviously. If one goes through a loss of loved one, or if one goes through a disease, an illness, a chronic illness, one sees it as a bad thing happening. But that is actually just this goad that we were using earlier, this thing that, okay, show me how much of strength you have. Find out how much of strength you have, how far you can go. So as mother also shares, that never take these things on the face value. We don't know what helps the other person. So a seeming bad event might be a transforming and a life changing event for a whole family or a person, right? So that also kind of came to me when we were reading the strength, that we have the exact amount of strength along with the difficulty. Yeah. Yes, so the difficulty now in front of Savitri is the difficulty of death. She'll have to confront death and ask for immortality, ask her claim for immortality, as we will later study. This is the difficulty that is present to Savitri. Now, this Godhead, this dubious Godhead, what he is doing is assailing her divinest elements. He is trying to attack Savitri, so that to test her divinest elements. What are the most shiniest and strengthful parts of yours? Show me, bring them to light, bring them to light, show me, show it outside. Assailing her divinest elements. One of those is her heart. As there was a reference to Savitri's heart earlier, that the whole universe, the whole world could take refuge in her single heart. He made her heart kin to the striving human heart. This is what we were referring to earlier, that I was saying that owing to the fact that Savitri has taken this human birth for evolving the humankind out of its present situation, it is very important for Savitri that she also partakes of that sorrow and suffering that human being goes through. Right? So now her heart is made kin, it's made alike to the striving human heart, a heart full of pain and suffering. What is the sorrow that we feel when we lose someone? Just like Savitri will lose Satyavan. She will go through that plunges of darkness of human heart. She will have to go through that. That is the challenge. She has fallen from her divinity to the human matter, to the human alikeness, so that she can take the human to the divine back again. Right? This is the challenge in front of her. And forced her strength to its appointed road. The mission that she is here for. So the uh, Godhead is forcing Savitri to go through this pain of Satyavan and allow her to carve a new road towards immortality and show us the way. For this is the mission. For this, she had accepted mortal breath. To wrestle with the shadow, she had come, the shadow of death, and must confront the riddle of man's birth and life's brief struggle in dumb matter's night. If we look at our life, as if something is wanting to be born, and all the external forces are preventing it. And the external forces seem so strong, and many a times they win. So this is life's struggle in dumb matters night. Earlier we read in the Canto 1, the darkness, the fathomless abyss of this inconscience, the matter, the dumbness of the matter, the dumbness of our own mind that we are trapped in. This is the struggle that is present in front of Savitri, the life's riddle that she is going to carve a new way for. What is to be done? Shall man go on and on, eons and centuries, going in this chakra of life and death, life and death, life and death, and accept it dumbly? Is this our destiny? Or can it be challenged? And there is a letter on this. So when Amal Kiran, who was in correspondence with Sri Aurobindo regarding Savitri's editings, he asked Sri Aurobindo, why are you not naming this one? The being, the dubious Godhead. He said, I am doing it on purpose. I have not named this being. But if you want to call it, you can call it the Lord of Evolution, the assigner of ordeal and path. This is the being of evolution, the Lord of evolution, who wants us to go ahead and progress in our lives, no matter how painful and strugglesome life may become at times. And He is the one who points to us His torch of pain. Through pain we evolve, through pain we progress in life, through suffering we get out of inertia and do something about our life. So this is referring to the Lord of evolution. Yeah. Shall we go ahead? So I can go ahead for 10 more minutes. Tell me if we want to stop here. I'm fine. Now Preeti will not say a thing, I know. You must be feeling guilty, Preeti. Right? कि मैंने क्यों कह दिया? Yes. बोलो आगे बढ़े कि नहीं? Or have you all fainted?
यही स्टॉप करते हैं मोनिका फिर.
ठीक है. Okay, great. So we'll continue from there next time then. Yeah, page number 70. Great. Thank you for joining in. Thank you.